everyone. It's lovely to have you here with us. It's a blessing to be here with you. Today, Yanni and I will be discussing questions that have arisen from our recent book study group on Practicing the Presence by Joel Goldsmith. And the link for the group is in the description. Anyone's welcome to join us. You don't have to have the book or know anything about Joel Goldsmith. As we're going through this work, if anyone has any questions or comments they'd like to share about the Infinite Way teachings or the spiritual path, please feel free to contact us.
We'll structure this session by sharing 2 questions that have arisen in the group, which we'll then discuss. And we're now up to chapter 9 in Practicing the Presence, and the questions relate to what we've covered so far. So just to let you know also in advance, Heather and I will be live on YouTube to continue our study group on Tuesday, the 23rd of July at 2 p.m. UK time. Okay, let's discuss the first question, which is in the chapter Love Thy Neighbour. And it says that no matter what an individual does to us, we are not to strike back under any circumstances. And that could be quite difficult to do. Can you explain what Joel means?
Okay, well, the spiritual principle Joel's explaining in this chapter is that of oneness. One life, one being, one consciousness, which is our own consciousness. That's all we ever experience, our own self. And rather than just explain this with a lot of words, I'm going to invite all of us to consciously experience the oneness of ourself. Now, you might find this exercise easier when you're out in nature, but nevertheless, it can be done anywhere, and eventually it becomes continuous. Our role in the Infinite Way is to rest as an avenue of awareness, and then to let the light of our soul radiate through and express as our experience. We watch inwardly as the life flows through us. So with me now, let's start by becoming aware of who or what it is that's looking out through our eyes. Can you perceive that where your head appears to be, there's a vast expanse of invisibleness? We can't see exactly what's there. We just know that that's where I am. That's me. And that me is appearing not only as a body, but also as my entire world. So sounds, thoughts, images, sensations arise in this space, and then they dissolve, all by themselves. I don't do any of this. It just happens. Then the realization comes that if all this is happening by itself, I can just rest in the observing of it. I have no control over it, even though thoughts lull me into believing that I do. So let's take a moment now, a brief moment, just to be still and watch from this perspective. Okay? So you see, it appears that there's a me and someone separate and apart from me. It appears that there to be a Heather and a Yanni, but in truth, that's not the case. I'm simply always experiencing my own mind, my own consciousness, appearing as everything and everyone in this world.
So in essence, it's letting go of all our thoughts and senses, which is key to be in stillness.
Yes, exactly, Yanni. So then why do we experience problems or tensions and discord? Well, Joel covers this in the principle he calls impersonalization. And I've discussed that in much more depth in another video, which I'll link in the description. But it's partly because we step away from being a point of focus and instead follow trains of thought and then react to them and get enmeshed in the entire picture, believing that I am a body that's separate from everything else. We also unconsciously take on collective beliefs that reinforce this, and that's when the dissonance appears to happen. As I say, I've discussed this in another video, but for now, let me read you an extract from Living the Infinite Way, which explains exactly what's here. And here's the book, Living the Infinite Way. Okay, I'm reading from the chapter Meditation. And Joel says, "The universe of spirit is an eternal activity of God. Anything that occurs in time or space, as we humanly understand it, should not be accepted at its appearance value. Let us remember that every appearance of humanhood, good or bad, is a mental image in thought, actually without reality, law, substance, cause, or effect. In this recognition, the limitations inherent in the 5 physical senses begin to drop away. We are enabled to see deeper into consciousness and behold that which is eternity in what appears as past, present, and future." So this is also one of the wisdoms of the infinite way, but I'll come to that in a moment. So in answer to our question, the reason we should resist from reacting to or striking back at another is because that other is our own self. Therefore, what I express or give out will not only come back to me, maybe not straight away, but it will come back, and it will come back multiplied. And exactly the same applies when we're allowing love.
So in essence, do good to attract good within your life.
Yep, exactly, Yanni. Yep. In his book, The Infinite Way, Joel included a chapter on what he called the wisdoms of the infinite way. These are short sentences and paragraphs that capture the essence of the spiritual principles he shared. In one of these wisdoms, he tells us, and I'm going to read it to you. So he tells us, "My peace is a state of peace that is experienced within, regardless of outside conditions, but which ultimately changes the outside conditions." So in short, if we want to experience peace in our relationships, we must consciously dwell in it.
Thank you, Heather. And our next question relates to chapter 7. Meditation is an invitation for God to speak to us or to make himself known to us. Please share more.
Well, I need to answer that. I'm going to read you an extract from Realization of Oneness. This one.
Okay.
This is an old version. In which Joel explains this far better than I can. And I'm reading from the chapter Living the Principle of Impersonalization. So, eventually, we include the entire world in our realization of God as individual being. We do not pin error onto any individual, not even ourselves. We do not claim that our jealousy, envy, greed, or lust is responsible for our ills, because we do not have any such qualities. If temporarily those qualities may be expressing themselves through us, they must be recognized as having their source in the impersonal carnal mind, and as long as they are out there, they are nothingness. This principle of impersonalization is one of the most important in our work, and we must make every effort to embody it in our consciousness, because we will not find it expressed in our experience until we make it our own. Watch what this secret of impersonalization does for you. Watch what it does in the experience of those around you. And you will understand why the Master could say, "Love thy neighbor as thyself. Isn't that hugely reassuring? And this is precisely why we learn the art of meditation as Joel teaches it in the Infinite Way.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Helen. Okay, shall we end with a short meditation? And I invite you to close your eyes and become aware of the stillness within you. Thank you.
Thank you.